Never let it be said that Chili is not a man of the people. I'm going to let you guys decide how we proceed with the tutorial series. We've got two choices in front of us. Choice A is the blue pill. And I forget which one is which. Is the red pill the one that takes you out of the matrix? Whatever. Doesn't matter. We can either, because I've basically finished everything that I want to do with regards to vectors and matrices in 2 dimensions. The kind of preparatory stuff to get everything ready, setting the stage for learning 3-dimensional math and so forth. So we can do that. We can go right on to 3-dimensional math. And if we do that, I'll be starting with, again, with a software 3D engine. And I hope to keep that series short too. At least 6 episodes, at most 10, I'm hoping for. But we never know until we actually get our hands dirty in that shit. But anyways, so that's one option. We can start on 3D. The other option is we can continue with the current engine and maybe make a game for once, because we haven't actually made an actual game for a long time. So I've got some ideas of what we could do with this engine. I'm thinking something like either like Rock and Roll Racing or like Subterranea. Those are my 2 ideas. But I'm open to other suggestions. This is what Subterranea looks like. Oh, that's loud. So as you can see, it's a 2D game, and I think we could fit the engine to work with something like this. It uses gravity and stuff like that, and you got to maneuver a ship with thrusters around, and you shoot shit, and it's good times. The other thing that we could be doing is something more like a racing style game. And as an example, this is kind of not a really good example because it's isometric, but this idea of like a combat racing game. And instead of, being on a track, it would be in space, but whatever. Something like this. And here's another thing, which is another racing deal. It's a little more similar to what I guess we would be having. Those are some ideas I've just got off the top of my head, but anything else, we can definitely discuss. What else you guys might be interested in making. What else? Okay, so the stuff that we want to implement, of course, we want to get like a full game. We want to do some stuff that I haven't covered yet, like the basic idea of making a title screen that comes with like a user interface. So maybe a little bit of UI stuff. Maybe not. I don't know. Might just be with the keyboard or the controller, but a title screen, way to configure the game options, have actual levels and an overarching control that handles, when you clear one level, start a new level, deallocate resources, reallocate resources, load and stuff. And game save. We've sort of touched on saving game, I think. Maybe not. Maybe that was just score. I can't remember if we just actually saved game state or if we just saved score, but definitely do something about saving and loading. So there's some ideas of things that will be implemented in any sort of game we do. Now, the interesting stuff. What kind of new interesting topics can we learn? Bells and whistles. So I've shown off Bloom. I've already done Bloom in my prototype engine, and I've shown that off. And we can definitely put that into the game to add some, flashy effects. If you don't know what Bloom is, just if you don't know what Geometry Wars is, Google Geometry Wars and check that out, because that's basically Bloom in action. If you want that glowing neon style effect, you need Bloom for that. So Bloom is something we could implement, and that would bring along with it a couple of interesting topics we could cover if you wanted to. One of them being SSE, so how to program with SSE and, accelerate your CPU code to run faster. And the other thing is threading. doing, spawning multiple work threads to utilize the multiple cores in your CPU. Now, another topic is kind of a weird one. MCI Music. MCI is a system in Windows that you can use to play media. And I've used it actually to play MIDI music in an engine that I have. But you could also use it to play like WAV files and I believe MP3s too. It's strange and it's not really used that much, but it might be fun for one reason, and that is when I implemented my MCI Music engine, I needed to use a separate thread to loop the playback when it got to the end of the song. And the communication between that thread and the main thread required some interesting inter-process communications, which is a threading thing when you have multiple threads and they have to access the same memory. And it's an interesting topic. It's an important topic when you have multiple threads working together. And it would be a great thing to cover. That's all I got to say about that. Another thing we could cover, multiplayer. I mean, that's networking. That's all you need to know right there. Everyone wants to learn about that shit. But it'll take a while. So if this is an option that people want to pursue, then they should be warned that it's going to take quite a few videos to cover this. Which will, of course, delay the 3D. Because either way, I'm going to be going on to the 3D. That goes without saying. But, if we decide to make this engine into a game, then how much we put into the game will determine how long it takes before we get on to 3D. So, but if people are really interested in multiplayer, then I'm willing to go there. The other thing we could do, particle system, that wouldn't take too long. And that would be an interesting little foray. Sound effects system, adding sound effects, that would really make it more game. It would make the game feel better. It's amazing how like sound effects can change the way a game feels. It's almost tactile. So yeah. And that's like not just the simple stuff that I've got in the framework. We'll probably throw most of that out because it's kind of janky and make a better subsystem using a non-deprecated platform. So not direct sound, but something like X Audio, or I don't know. I haven't actually looked into this shit, so I'd have to do a little studying up myself. But yeah, definitely make a better platform and also, make an architecture to handle all the events in the game. What else? AI, another topic. You could go on forever with this bullshit, but I'm thinking doing something a little more complicated than the tic-tac-toe stuff that we sort of did. Although that was more of like a homework assignment. I didn't actually cover the AI. So yeah, do a little AI and support gamepad or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff we could do for bells and whistles to add on to an engine. And they're all interesting topics and important topics to learn. But it all boils down to, how interested everyone is in learning the topics and how much they're willing to delay the time before we start on 3D. So first things first, all I want to know, it's a binary option here. You either want to go directly onto 3D or you want to take some time to work on making an actual game out of the advanced engine. So I'm gonna put up a poll on the forum, and I'm gonna ask you guys, which one you want. I'm pretty sure most people want to just get on with 3D. To be honest, that's the vibe I feel, and I'm fine with that too. But for those of you who want to, do an actual game making foray here, I'm up for that too. So head on to the forums and let me know what you guys want.